Leeds United have some distinct concerns at the moment, especially around the transfer window, because it's transfer season. And this is before we even think about the wages and fees that Leeds United will have to pay to various clubs in order to secure players. And this could harm the club in ways that we don't even know yet, but we've had a little bit of an inkling to it, and we need to act relatively quickly. Because we need to talk about the Whites' biggest issue in the 25-26 market. But first, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd hugely appreciate you doing so. I'm on the road to however high I can get before the Leeds Creator Cup, on which date I'm going to take my subscriber count. 1 penny per subscriber will be going to Prostate Cancer UK. On top of all of the proceeds from the event itself on the 20th of July, all of your favourite creators at 1 p.m, John Chell Centre for Sport, battling out on the football pitch. What else could you ask for? It's going to be a brilliant day. Tickets are £7 for adults, £3 for kids, and you can get them down below. Anyway, the issue that we're going to have to face as Leeds United for a while is competing not only financially with other clubs, but reputationally and competitively. And the perfect sort of version of this was in the Kelleher move to Brentford. Now, presumably, we have equally gone in with Brentford, putting in the same amount of money. We will have reached whatever Liverpool wanted us to pay, because the word going around is that Leeds United are budgeting about £30 million per key position. Goalkeeper, very clearly one of those, and Kelleher moved for 12.5, rising to £18 million. So we will have offered enough of a fee. In terms of wages, that wouldn't have particularly been a problem. The issue is being in a position where if the choice is Leeds United or another club, we run into some issues. These are what I'm going to start by referring to as the domestic problems. The domestic problems being that if a player is looking for minutes and quite desperately like, oh, you know what, I might want to go somewhere that I'm going to play more. In Kelleher's case, there we go. Third choice goalkeeper at Liverpool next season, he's going to want to be playing football somewhere at some point. But we've just come up, which means that we are highly at risk of going down again. Almost all of the betting sites have us as the third most likely team to go down, behind Sunderland and Burnley, which is a dangerous place for us to be. Which means that players that are looking at other Premier League clubs will probably look at specifically us and go, you're at risk of going down. So I'll choose Brentford instead, in spite of the fact that historically bigger club at Leeds United, but that doesn't mean anything for their career. They can say, I played for Leeds United, but it doesn't help us in the slightest. In addition to that, we've got the issue of having to battle Brighton for Uche. So specifically, this is the Nigerian midfielder /10 / occasionally forward. I was corrected on that one in yesterday's video. Thank you for that, guys. Genuinely, massively appreciate it. And the issue with the battle for Uche is, whilst he is a player abroad who's coming from La Liga, from Getafe, who will have been in something of a relegation battle last season because it was tight at the bottom of La Liga, he's not going to want to do the same again. So it doesn't matter whether we're buying domestically, in the case of Kelleher, or internationally, in the case of Uche, this is going to be a problem. But it's not just that, because you also have big international issues. And specifically, the example that I've used for this is the Junior Firpo situation, where we have put in an offer for him, but at the same time, there's reported interest from Lazio, from Betis, from apparently Napoli at one point. That was a weird one to hear. Same issue applies for Paixão, who apparently has interest also from the likes of Napoli and various clubs across Europe. And that reminds me of the Firpo situation, in which we will put forward a contract that he is probably happy to get behind. But at the same time, the amount of money that we have as a Premier League club is the amount of money that European qualifying sides across the rest of Europe will be able to pay. And Firpo isn't a bad player, as much as a lot of people may think so, and he can at the very least fill out a squad spot in a lot of European level sides, which puts us in a weird sticky spot where we're sort of testing the worth of our club's image, and in this case, Junior Firpo's history with the club versus the competitive level that you can play at. If you can play a season of Europa League football and think, maybe if we win this, I can get into the Champions League, you're going to go for that. And that's not something we can offer right now. Sure, we can offer the Premier League, But European football isn't going to be on the menu, at least in the short term. So now we've got to think about how exactly we work around all of this. And I've got a couple of ways that we could maybe consider. The first of which is try and sell the project. Now, Leeds United, as just Leeds United being the club that just got promoted to the Premier League, isn't an attractive prospect. But look at it on a wider scale. Leeds United, who are owned by billionaire owners in the US, who are having their stadium redone so it fits 53,000 people in it at the very least, who are sponsored by Red Bull, which means that there's going to be a lot of money behind them, which means that if you go to Leeds, you are going to have a lot of funding supporting you and the players that are brought in with you. So that risk minimizes a little bit. If you can successfully sell a player on the project at Leeds United, then ultimately you're setting yourself up for a lot of success because you're minimizing the risk that we will be going through there. In addition to that, there's something that we can't avoid here, in that we will need to battle financially. In terms of revenue per club, the Premier League is the best league to be in the world. At least £100 million per club per year from TV revenue alone, and that's ignoring stuff like gate receipts, merchandising, which is going to be massive again because A, Adidas deal, B, international television. Being able to have that fight financially means that we can reasonably go toe-to-toe with Champions League clubs, with Europa League clubs, with Europa Conference League sides, and put forward the case that, yeah, sure, they're offering European football, but we can offer plenty of minutes at the same time as reaching your contract requirements. And finally, I think one of the things we need to do is look for perfect targets. The example I've got in my head of this is Vladislav Vanat, who is currently, I believe, at Dynamo Kyiv, Ukrainian striker, very, very good, quite young. And what we can offer him is an immediate route into a Premier League side where he's going to get minutes, where we're going to be able to reach his financial requirements, where, and this is a surprisingly important bit, we don't have a history of having Russian players, which is quite important. In fact, our manager who was managing in Russia left immediately as soon as the invasion of Ukraine happened. So it puts us in a situation of, okay, so he's a good target to go for because he suits the club in terms of profile of player we're looking for, in terms of his level because he's a very, very good player, and in terms of us being the next step on his climb up that ladder. And if we get the right targets that we are able to battle for financially, that understand the project and want to go for it, I think we have a very good chance of getting a very, very solid squad next season. And hopefully staying up and doing incredibly well. But at the end of the day, we will find out how that goes, and that was just what I think. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. That is always massively appreciated. If you haven't yet, I'd hugely appreciate you liking the video, subscribing, or even becoming a channel member. It's $2.99 a month, and you get a bunch of videos early, including this one, which I'm recording the night before it goes out publicly, so you get a few hours of advantage over everyone. And yeah, anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. And get Credit Cup tickets. People are traveling from Dubai for this. You've got no excuse. In a bit.